بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So we are learning about fragments still, and we have learned 3 fragments so far. 3 fragments. Today we are going to start the 4th fragment. Can somebody tell me what are the 3 fragments we have already learned? Okay, Saad is going to tell us, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Go ahead, Saad.
The three fragments we have learned are the mudaf ilayh, sifa maf'ul, and jar majroor.
Yeah, good job, Saad. Good job. So we have learned mudaf ilay, then we learned sifa mawsuf, and then we learned jar majroor. Today we are going to start a new fragment. It is called ismul ishara musharun ilay. It's a pretty long name, but don't need to worry about it. It's pretty simple actually. There are 2 parts. Ismul ishara is the first part, and musharun ilay is the second part. Okay, now I am going to ask about the homework. Anybody remember what was the homework? Okay, Zainab, do you know what the homework was?
Yeah, you basically gave us the word tilka and the male pronunciation for that, and we had to it was in different statuses.
Yeah, you have to memorize them, right?
Yeah.
Can you give me the table that starts with hada?
What?
Can
Didn't you do one for tilka?
Okay, good. You want to go do? Okay, do tilka.
Okay. Give me a second. My mic. 1 second. Okay. Zalika. And then we had the duo. That was the singular one. The duo would be Zanika, Zainika, and Zainika. And the plural was Ulaika. And then there was the female version of that, Tilka, which was Tanika for Raf'a, and Tainika for Nasab and Jar. And the plural was also Ulaika.
So that was the pointing words for pointing to something which is far. But there were also words which were pointing to something which is near. Thank you, Zainab. So anybody else who wants to tell me that they have memorized the tables that start with haza? There were 2 tables on that slide. Anybody who memorized that table? Umar, go ahead. Start with haza.
Haza, dual is hazani, hazaini, hazaini, and haulai.
Feminine version?
Hazahi.
Hazihi.
Hazihi. Hatani, hataini, hataini, and haulai.
Good, good. Ayan, did you memorize this? Did you memorize the tables?
No. I didn't know there was a table. I probably didn't look at it.
Danielle, you memorized it?
Yeah. Hadha, and then there was hadani, hadaini, and then there was haulai, and then for the feminine version it was hadhihi, and then it was hatani, and then hataini, and then haulai.
What about the other slide? The one for far. Started with zalika.
Oh yeah, the zalika, and then there was zalikani, and then zalikaini,
No, 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 no,
and then,
no, no.
oh, I forgot
Yeah,
that one then.
you forgot that one. Brother Sultan, did you memorize this?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Zalika, Zalika, Zainaka, Zainaka. And it's the dual is Ulaika.
Oh,
Tilka,
mhm.
Tilka, Talika, Tabnaka, and Tabnaka, and plural is Ulaika. Ulaika.
Yeah, there's a problem with dual here with both of them. So I'm a little disappointed. Not all of us, I was expecting that most of us will memorize this, because if you don't memorize this, then it will be difficult for me to teach this. This is how you're supposed to memorize this. Haza, hazani, hazaini, hazaini, haulai. Haza means this. This is used for masculine. This is for used for pointing at something. And rafa, nasab, jar, all are haza. So it is non-flexible. It doesn't show its status. But when it comes to dual, it does to some extent show its status. Hazani is rafa, hazaini, hazaini could be nasab or jar, and haulai again is a non-flexible word. It rafa, nasab, jar is the same. It means these, and it is used for masculine. So this is how you memorize it. Haza, hazani, hazaini, hazaini, haulai. Then the feminine version of this is hazihi. Again, this is non-flexible. Rafa, nasab, jar, same word. It doesn't show its status. It means this, but it is for feminine. So if you're pointing to a feminine thing, then you would use hazihi. If you're pointing to a masculine thing, then you will say haza. And what's the dual of hazihi? Hatani, hataini, hataini. Hatani is rafa, and hataini and hataini are nasab and jar. And again, haulai is the same for masculine and feminine actually. When it comes to plural, the masculine and feminine, they have the same word, haulai. And it is again non-flexible. It doesn't show its status. In rafa, nasab, or jar, it has the same shape, same form. So this is for pointing to something which is close to you. Haza and hazihi and all the other words on these two tables are used to point at things which are close to you. So if you haven't memorized these tables so far, try to memorize them today after the class. Trust me, it is not gonna take very long. It is not. It is very simple. Okay, this was for pointing at something close. Now, if there is something which is very far, and you want to point to it, then what you do? Instead of saying haza, you say zalika. Zalika means that. And then the dual is zanika, zainika, zainika. So zanika is rafa, zainika and zainika is nasab and jar. And ulaika is again non-flexible like zalika. It doesn't show its status, and it doesn't change its harakat or anything for rafa, nasab and jar. It remains the same. Like Musa, like Isa. So pointing words are non-flexible. The singular and plural. But when it comes to dual, they have some flexibility in it. So this is masculine for pointing at something which is far. And then the feminine version of it. The feminine of zalika is tilka. Tilka meaning is the same, that. But when you say tilka, then you are pointing to something which is feminine gender. So if you're pointing to something which is far and it is masculine, you say zalika. Zalikal kitabu, that book. But if you are pointing to something which is far and it is feminine gender, then you say tilka. All right. And the dual is tanika, tainika, tainika. Again, tanika is rafa, tainika and tainika is nasab and jar. It's you see zanika, zainika, zainika, tanika, tainika, tainika. There's a pattern here. You don't have to work hard to memorize this. You have to just spare some time and make an effort, and inshallah it's gonna be very simple. And ulaika is the same for masculine and feminine, for pointing at something which is far. Okay, so again, if I go back, these are the two tables. First table is for masculine, second table is for feminine, and these are called asmaul ishara. Each one of them is ismul ishara. Haza is ismul ishara, pointing down. Hazihi is also ismul ishara. Hazani, ismul ishara. So all of them individually, each of them is an ismul ishara. All right, and they are used for pointing at something which is close. The first table is for masculine gender. If you're pointing to something masculine, and if you're pointing to something which is close and it is feminine, then you use the words in the second table. And then when you are pointing to something far and it is masculine, then you use the first table, the table shown here. And if you're pointing to something which is far, but it is feminine, then use the second table. So you have to memorize them. There is no way around it. You cannot learn this fragment without knowing the ismul ishara. You have to know what ismul ishara are, so you could recognize them when you see them in Qur'an. So I will request to all of you, please memorize these words. They are not hard. There's a pattern here, right? So once you know it is zanika, then zainika, zainika. You just need to remember the first word, and the other two will come easy. And same is the case for table on the first, this one, hazani, hazaini, hazaini, hatani, hatani, hataini. So there's a pattern here. And when things have a pattern, they are easier to memorize. Okay. So if you haven't done this so far, again, I'm requesting you to memorize these words, the words in these tables. Okay. I have written a few fragments here. They have a certain feature in them. Like can somebody tell me what you see common between these fragments?
They're all pointing to something.
They're all, Jazakallah khair Farhan bhai. This house, like you see a house and you say this house, and then you are pointing to that house. That book. Now that book, the book is a little far now. So instead of saying this book, now you are saying that book. And then you see two boys and you say those two boys. So they are a little far and you say those two boys and you point to them. And those men or these girls. So the common thing is that you use this phrase when you are pointing to something. The first word is you can say this is the pointing word, and the second one is the one you are pointing to. For example, I take the first one, I separate it from the bunch. This house. And when you say this house, you are pointing to a house. For example, see, this is a house and you are pointing to it. This house. And when you use this fragment or some fragment like this, the first word, which is this, the first word is called ismul ishara. Like on the tables, all the words in those 4 tables, they are all ismul ishara. Each of them is a ismul ishara. So this fragment is made up of 2 words. The first word is called ismul ishara. Okay. And the second word is the thing which is pointed at, and that is called musharun ilay. You probably already know this term, ismul ishara. So the next term that you need to memorize is musharun ilay. Musharun ilay is the thing or a person or something which is being pointed at. Over here, you see the house was being pointed at. So the house is musharun ilay. And the noun used to point this, the word this, is called ismul ishara. So this is the fragment. This is ismul ishara musharun ilay. This house is a fragment, and this fragment's name is ismul ishara musharun ilay. All right. Okay. So we have some other fragments as well here. So let me pick somebody here. Musab Iqbal.
Yes. Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. So in this fragment, this is ismul ishara and house is musharun ilay. How about the second fragment here? That book.
That book. The that is the ismul ishara because it's pointing to the book, and the book is the mushara ilay because it's being pointed at.
So book is what?
The mushara ilay.
Musharun ilay. Musharun ilay. Very good. Very good. Tanjeen. Those 2 boys. What is ismul ishara here and what is musharun ilay?
Mashara, it's the two boys. What?
Brother Umar Farooq, can you tell me those 2 boys? What is ismul ishara and what is musharun ilay?
Ismul ishara, those pointing, what is those? And 2 boys are musharun alay.
Very good. Thank you, Brother Umar Farooq. So those is the word which is being used to point at something, and that thing is 2 boys. So 2 boys are musharun ilay, and those is ismul ishara. Okay, Ali.
Yes.
Those men. What is ismul ishara? What is musharun ilay?
Those is ismul ishara and men is musarun ilay.
Very good. Good job, Ali. Thank you. Thank you. Nosheen. Nosheen.
Yes.
In this fragment here, these girls, what is ismul ishara and what is musharun ilay?
These girls, this is Musharun ilay, and
And
girls
how about girls?
is Ismu Ishara.
You're saying these is musharun ilay and girls is ismul ishara. That's what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nosheen. Taimia, do you agree with Nosheen?
No.
No, what do you think?
These is Ismul Ishara and girls is Musharun ilay.
So Nosheen, the first word which is used to point, that is ismul ishara. And the one that is being pointed at is musharun ilay. For example, over here in this example, over here, the house is being pointed at. So the house is musharun ilay, and the word that is used to point, which is this here, this word, that is ismul ishara. Okay. Yeah. So that's what it is. So now I think we know what is ismul ishara and what is musharun ilay. Simple is that. It's not a very complicated concept. If you are pointing at something, that something is called musharun ilay. And the word you use to point, this, these, that, those, these kinds of words, they are called ismul ishara. Simple as that. There is no complexity to it. Okay. Now, the task is, because we are learning Arabic, not English. So we need to translate this fragment into Arabic language. Okay, that's the task now. This house, we need to translate this into Arabic. It looks like Musa wants to volunteer. Okay, Musa, I will ask you some questions then if you're volunteering. Can I ask you some questions, Musa?
Okay.
What is the Arabic of this?
هذه هي.
Sorry. Say it loud.
هذه.
Hazihi. So when you're pointing to something feminine, you will say hazihi. And that would mean this. But if you're pointing to something masculine, then what is the word for this?
هذا.
Haza. Haza. Okay. So in this fragment, house is being pointed at. Is house in Arabic language? Okay.
Also masculine.
It is a masculine. Okay. So the word used would be this. For words used to be haza or hazihi.
Yes. Haza.
What do you think? Haza. Daniel, do you agree? Will it be haza or hazihi?
I agree with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So how has this, the translation of this is haza, and we are not using hazihi because house is not a feminine word in Arabic. It is masculine. So that is why the Arabic of this is haza and not hazihi. All right. Okay. Ayan,
Uncle, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Musab.
Can THE the be used as ismul ishara, like if you say the time?
Sorry, I did not get it. Say it again.
The word the THE. Can that be used as ismul ishara, like if you say the time?
No, da is not an ismul ishara. Da.
Okay.
No, that is not. No. You can say this watch or this clock, right? Then
Yeah.
it has to be a noun, right? The musharun ilay. So this means haza. So I was asking Ayan, can you tell me what is the Arabic for house?
Bait.
Bait. Very good. So now we have the vocabulary. Now we need to translate this fragment, which is this house, into Arabic. Muhammad Ashar. Go ahead. Translate it into Arabic.
Haza is Haza and then Bait.
Haza baytun. Okay. Haza baytun. So Muhammad told us Haza baytun. It means what it means, Muhammad?
It means this house.
This house. This house. But no, it doesn't mean this. Sorry, Muhammad. I led you into this. Haza baytun doesn't mean this house. Actually, it means this is a house. Okay, Muhammad? Yeah. So we did not translate it right. We need to make a change. So this is actually a sentence. This is a sentence. This is not even a fragment. So this does not, haza baitun does not mean this house. We will have to make a change in it. And the change is, we have to add an al with baitun. Okay. So if I do this, it will be hazal baitu. Hazal baitu. And now it means this house. And now this is correct. This
Okay.
is a fragment. And it means this house. So what you have to do is, when you are making a fragment like this, ismul ishara and musharun ilay, the musharun ilay has to have an al with it. If there is no al, then it is not a musharun ilay. Then it will not be a fragment. It will be something else. Okay. So ismul ishara is very easy to identify, because if you memorize the words in that chart, those charts, then you already know how to identify an ismul ishara. But the musharun ilay has to have an al with it. If it doesn't have al with it, then it will not be a musharun ilay. It will not be this fragment. So hazal baytu means this house. Okay. Hazal baytu means this house. Right.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, but why do we have to add al? Why do we have to add al?
Because that is how the Arabs speak.
Oh, wait, so is it like because of linguistic reasons?
Yeah, I mean, we have to just follow the Arabs. This is how the Arabs speak their language.
Okay.
Right? When they add an al, then it is a musharun ilay. If then they don't add al, then it is not a musharun ilay. Then it becomes a sentence, as in the example here. Okay. So we just follow the Arabs. What they do, we just follow that. We cannot change the language. The language is developed over centuries, right? Decades, like hundreds of centuries. Hundreds of years, rather, I should say. Okay. The last thing before I conclude today's lesson is that for haza to be called ismul ishara and al-baytu to be called musharun ilay, they both have to match in all the 4 properties of the ism. Haza is an ism, al-baytu is an ism as well. And they have to match in all the 4 properties for them to be called ismul ishara and musharun ilay. Okay, so we will check that and then we will conclude, inshallah, today's lesson. Well, I have this table here, haza and al-baytu. All right, so we need to know the status of both of these words. Burak, what is the status of al-baytu?
Rafa.
Rafa.
Oh, sorry, my mic was open.
Rafa, I don't know who spoke, but Rafa is good. Haza, we cannot tell what his status would be. It will be difficult because haza, Rafa is haza, nasab is haza, jar is also haza. But we can assume that it is Rafa for this time. All right, so we'll just assume that it is Rafa. So they match in the first property. Okay, haza. What is the gender of haza? Azan? Azan is offline, he's saying. Okay, Abdullah? Abdullah, you are here?
Yes.
What is the gender? Is it masculine or feminine? Haza.
Haza is masculine.
Masculine. How about al-baytu?
Al-baytu is
there a ta marbuta with it?
No.
Is it a name of a place? Like a country or a city?
No.
No, it's not. Is it a body part in pair? Is it a broken plural? No. It's not, because it's not feminine because of any linguistic reasons even. So this is a masculine word. Okay, so they match in gender as well. Thank you. We have an Imad here. Imad, would you like to speak to me? No? Okay. Taimia, would you speak to me?
Yes.
Okay, what is this? What is the number of Haza? Haza is singular, dual, or plural?
هذا is singular.
Okay. How about al-baytu?
Is singular.
Is singular as well. So both match in number as well. Oh, Daniel, what is the type of Haza? Is it common noun or proper noun?
It's common noun.
Oh, no.
Well, we can't tell, so
Yeah, I give you a rule. And ismul ishara is always proper noun. Just memorize this. And ismul ishara is always a
proper noun.
It is never common. It is never common. It is always proper. Okay? So all the ismul ishara in all those 4 tables, they are all proper nouns. And ismul ishara will never be a common noun. It is always proper. How about al-baytu?
Al-baytu is also proper.
They match in type as well. So because they match in all the 4 properties of ism, that is why now we will call them ismul ishara and musharun ilay. All right. So hazal baytu meets the condition, which is that it has to match in all the 4 properties. The like haza and al baytu, they have to match in all their 4 properties, and they do. That is why we call them ismul ishara and musharun ilay. This is all about this fragment. It's very simple. The first word will be ismul ishara, and then you have to look at the next one. Does it have al with it or not? It has to have an al. And then it has to match with haza with respect to all its 4 properties. And then you are done. Then you can say this is a fragment, and this fragment is called ismul ishara musharun ilay. Simple as that. Any question on today's lesson?
Shabazz bhai, I have a small question.
Yes.
That like we have this 11 words, ba, ta, ka, lam, waw, fi, jo, all the same, but still the ta and wa, where we can use these words.
We're talking about the jar majroor.
Yeah, jar majroor.
Yeah, ta is used with Allah's name, like tallahi, I swear by Allah. And wa, did you say wa?
Wa, yeah.
That was-samai wat-tariki. That is again for taking an oath. I swear by.
Swear by God, swear by Asma, sky.
There are many times that are like wal asr.
Well,
I swear by the time. So that waw is waw kasamiya, and it is used for taking an oath. There is another waw which is used, and its meaning is and. That's a different word.
Yeah, this was the confusion.
Yeah, that waw is not a jar. That is not a jar. Okay. Any other question with respect to today's lesson?
Today's okay, inshallah, we will first.
We will repeat it, inshallah. If you didn't get it, inshallah, we will revise it.
No,
Umar, Ali, do you have a question? You have your
Yes,
hand up.
I think you did a typo with the feminine of haza. It's written haza he.
Okay, I will correct that. Yeah, jazakallah khairan for pointing out that. I will make the correction. So if it is written as haza he, it is not haza he, it is hazihi. Thank you, Umar. All right, I think we can conclude today's lesson, and I will let Brother Abdul Khalik do that.